You're watching a special edition of News 6 here on News 6 Plus, clickorlando.com, streaming on YouTube and our social media pages. I'm Crystal Moyer with News 6, and we come to you with breaking news out of downtown Orlando. Chaos breaking out overnight after a mass shooting near Orange Avenue. You're looking at the scene now. The Sky 6 was flying over it. Now, it's still an active scene. Police are still out there blocking roadways as they investigate what happened out there. We know so far a 17-year-old has been taken into custody after shots rang out in a large crowd of partygoers in downtown Orlando just celebrating Halloween. So we do have a press conference that we listened to earlier this morning with Orlando Police Chief Eric Smith, and here's an update on that.
Good morning. The Orlando Police Department is currently investigating a shooting with multiple victims in downtown Orlando. At approximately 1:07 a.m., officers reported shots fired at Central Boulevard and Orange Avenue. Within minutes, a second report of shots fired was called in south of Washington Street on Orange Avenue. At this time, we are aware of 8 total victims. 2 are now deceased. 6 other individuals who were shot were transported to ORMC for further treatment. Those victims are currently in stable condition. Shortly after the reported shots fired, a shooting suspect was located and taken into custody at Washington and Orange. He has been identified as 17-year-old Jalen Dwayne Edgar. He was previously arrested for grand theft in 2023. This is still an active investigation. As we gather more information, we'll provide you with another update. So what we're going to do now is go over some videos. So this is Orange and Central. And if you follow where the blur is, play back a little bit. So you see a suspect will walk up, shot fired right there. Everybody takes off running. The suspect takes off running towards Court Street.
One more time, Chief.
Yeah, go to the other video. We'll play more at the end of the video. Then the suspect reappears near Orange and Washington. Play that one back, that was quick. He reappears at Orange and Washington, and then shots are fired again. If you watch the back of this pickup truck, the police pickup truck, watch the officer start moving. The officer identifies the suspect. He witnessed the shooting, takes the suspect down. Other officers come to assist. Now we're going to let officer's body cam. You tell the shots are fired, people start to move quickly. The officer sees the suspect, moves in on him, and takes him into custody. So as you can see from this video, downtown's a very busy night. Halloween is one of our busiest nights of the year. Always is. Usually the Halloween night itself is busy, and then the Saturday after Halloween is always almost just as busy. We're doing anywhere from 50 to 100,000 people. As you can see from the picture, the crowd's gigantic, and this is just on Orange Avenue. So we're dealing with a very, very large crowd. And during this night, we had about 100 officers who were working the detail, spread out, and as you can see in all the videos, the officers responded very quickly. The officers did a great job. They responded right when they heard the shooting. You know, as everybody else is running, they're not. They're sitting in their position looking for a shooter. They found a shooter, and they took him down. But right now, I'll take your questions.
Do you have any idea about the motive behind it?
No, we have the suspect. Of course, that'll be a part of our investigation, part of the interview process.
All right, so that's video that was shown live just before 5 o'clock this morning. If you're just now joining us, that is the press conference following a chaotic night in downtown Orlando after shots were fired in a crowd of thousands who were celebrating Halloween. Unfortunately, 2 people died. 6 were taken to the hospital at Orlando Regional Medical Center. The suspect was taken into custody, a 17-year-old. We'll tell you a little bit more about what we know about that suspect. But first, we want to get out to our reporter, Angie Casada. She's been out there outside of Orlando Regional Medical Center where family and friends have gathered. It's been a very, sad time for them. And you said you spoke to someone who was already planning a funeral.
Crystal, it's insane. I can't even begin to describe the feelings that I felt since I got out here, right? We're people first. So when we arrived on scene, seeing all of the friends and families coming together, just scared, not knowing. I spoke with one mom who said her son missing, that she hadn't heard from him, and she was almost having a panic attack, not knowing. And then the mother that I spoke with, it was a mother, the victim's sister, as well as the victim's brother that were all present. And they found out that their loved one was shot through one of his friends, and they actually came across a video of him laying on the ground on social media. So that before they had even heard from their loved one, they came across that video. So you can only imagine the emotions that they were feeling. The sister is a nurse. From what I'm being told, she said that the video does not look good. They were very, very concerned, and the mother just feeling hopeless, even speaking that she contacted a funeral home. So, and of course the siblings were completely shattered, telling her not to say that, to not look into that, to be hopeful. So a lot of heavy emotions right now. We spoke with not only that family, we also spoke with a lot of friends that were UCF students that came out to celebrate Halloween. As someone that grew up in Central Florida, going downtown Orlando for Halloween was a tradition. It was a thing. So the fact that these UCF students came out last night thinking that they were going to have a great time, unfortunately turned into a Halloween nightmare, right? One of the UCF students that we spoke with, he was waiting on a friend who was a victim, unfortunately. He said one of his really close friends, when they heard the shots go out, they were leaving Taco Bell, and he jumped on top of them. It was him and another girl covering them, shielding them pretty much. And he said that he felt almost like a warm sensation come through by his leg. He thought that he had been shot. And it wasn't until his friend got up, realized that he was shot, and he laid down, said that, unfortunately blood was everywhere. But since then, we found out that his friend is expected to be okay, thankfully. He was communicating with him via text on his phone. And but a lot of people, we're still learning to know the conditions of everyone else. We were told that once the loved ones and friends entered the hospital after the hospital was on lockdown, they were able to go into separate conference rooms. Some family members and friends were taken into separate private conference rooms, while others actually waited in the public waiting area. So I'm not sure what that means. We're still learning what those updates are on these victims, but the victims' ages are ranging from the ages of 19 to 39. But again, 8 victims total, 2 who we know are dead. But of course, we're going to keep you updated as soon as we learn more.
Yeah, and Angie, setting the scene here, we're looking right now at video from the scene there that our photographers, people downtown have gathered. And Orange Avenue, it's a pretty popular spot. There's a lot of bars, there's a lot of nightclubs all around that strip. So as you can imagine, thousands of people were out there just trying to have a good time on Halloween. And especially these days where everybody has a cell phone and social media is so popular, when stuff like this happens, as you mentioned, families and friends are finding out that their loved ones have been shot through social media. And that is just devastating, not knowing the conditions of them right
Yeah.
now. So, again, that's just horrible to see family and friends having to go to the hospital. And it's a waiting game to figure out what's going on. We know that 6 people are in the hospital right now hurt. 2 have died as a result of this shooting. So, we appreciate you being out there. And like you mentioned earlier, we are people first. So just,
Yeah.
prayers for these families involved. And as the morning progresses, we'll continue to check in with you. Have you seen any more activity, whether it was police activity or anything outside of the hospital there?
Yeah, so there was a heavy Orlando police presence when we arrived, of course, the hospital being on lockdown, but now there's only probably 3 cop cruisers that are currently here. No word yet if the hospital is on lockdown. I believe they removed that after letting the family in about an hour after that, but no activity yet. We're waiting to see if maybe any family members will be coming out, or maybe praying maybe some of those victims that had injuries and they were treated might be coming out. Of course, we'll keep you updated and see if that happens.
We'll continue to follow this breaking news alert, and we'll check back in with you later on during our streaming show. We'll continue to follow this all day long. Thank you so much. All right, so we're still learning a little bit more about the suspect. The name has not been released yet, but we want to get right over to Trooper Steve, who's been at police headquarters since that initial press conference happened just before 5 a.m. And Steve, we know that this was a 17-year-old man who was arrested at the scene.
That's correct. A 17-year-old teenager was arrested for this shooting out at downtown Orlando. Crystal, I've been out here since this morning. We've all got the call early this morning, and I came right out here to the scene originally in downtown Orlando. This footage, we were probably about a block away from where you see these law enforcement officers running up to that downed victim. And I tell you, Crystal, this has been a developing story. Initially, the numbers, it takes time to kind of figure this stuff out. And Police Chief Eric Smith giving us those details and truly talking about how the up in security really wouldn't even prevented this because of the brazen attack by the 17-year-old. Crystal, it's just insane to look at the video. That initial video, this suspect walks by somebody, obviously almost looking mildly intentional, and then just reaches back, fires rounds. The victim falls to the ground, and then that suspect moves on to another location and opens fire again directly in front of law enforcement officers. So to the point of present security, it appears
17-year-old man was arrested at the scene.
That's correct. A 17-year-old teenager was arrested for this shooting.
We're sorry about the technical difficulty. It appears that we lost Steve there, but he was talking about some of that surveillance video and the quick actions of Orlando police. We've been covering things like this and incidents and shootings, and I'll tell you this. I have never seen Orlando police release surveillance video so quickly after an incident like this. And what you're looking at are surveillance videos as well as body camera videos. Again, that suspect, that 17-year-old, opened fire, and Police Chief Eric Smith said they don't have a motive just yet. They're still interviewing that suspect, but it appears he recognized or may have known that person when he opened fire. Then he walked past police officers, shot again into a large crowd of people before he was taken down, as you could see there in the surveillance video, by that truck. So we don't have a name yet. We're waiting to get some more information, but Chief Smith did say that that suspect did have a prior arrest in 2023 for an auto theft. So as soon as we get some more information, of course, we'll update it on clickorlando.com, and we will have Breakfast with Bridget. I'll be filling in for her coming up as well at 7:30, where we will continue this breaking coverage. Thank you for joining us on News 6 Plus, clickorlando.com, and YouTube.